Hi everyone, this is Brit's Best and today I'm going to be making raviolis. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my pasta dough. I have 3.5 cups of flour. It's just regular unbleached flour. I've just made it into a circle and made a well in the center. I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of olive oil to the middle of the well. And then add in 4 whole eggs. Now what I'm going to do is just use a normal fork and just break up the yolks, try and incorporate the eggs into the olive oil. Okay, and once all the yolks are broken, just slowly start adding in some of the flour from your well. You want to try and take it from the bottom part of your well, not the top, so that all of the wet ingredients stay in the middle. Alright, so now I'm going to add in a tablespoon of water, pretty big pinch of salt, maybe 2, and just add those in as well, and just keep slowly adding in more and more flour. Alright, so once it gets to this kind of gelatinous state, I like to suspend use of the fork and then just start kneading it with my hands. So just add in a little bit of flour at a time. We might use all the flour, we might not. It just depends on the day, the temperature, the humidity, a lot of things. Alright, so my dough is ready. You can see I didn't use hardly as much flour as I started out with, but that's okay. I'd rather have more flour than I needed than not enough and have all the eggs and olive oil come oozing out. But you can see the way you tell the dough is ready is it's totally yellow and it doesn't have any more white kind of flour visible in it. This needs to rest in the refrigerator for at least an hour and a half. It just lets the gluten relax and it will make for a more pliable dough. For my beef filling, I just have 1/2 pound of lean ground beef. I'm just going to season it up with a few spices. So I'm going to salt it, and some pepper, and then for my spices, I want to season it pretty well because just the beef and cheese are going to go into the beef raviolis. So we're just going to do a little bit of garlic powder. I would do normal real garlic, but I don't want you to have to bite into the chunks of garlic in the raviolis, so that's why I chose the powder. I'm going to do a little bit of oregano, just 1/2 palmful of each of these spices. So there's oregano, this is basil, and I just use dried spices for the filling. This is thyme and marjoram. I'm just going to mix these up and let our beef continue to cook. For my cheese filling, I have 1 pound of ricotta cheese. To that, I'm going to add about another pound of mozzarella, and then 1/2 pound of freshly grated Parmesan. I'm also going to add 1 egg just to help bind it all together. A pinch of salt, doesn't need too much because the cheeses are all salty, and some pepper. As far as spices go, they're really your choice. I like marjoram. So I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of marjoram, thyme, basil, and then I like to add just a pinch of nutmeg. A little bit goes a long way, so. And I'm just going to mix this all together. Alright, and then just cover this with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge until you're ready to stuff your raviolis. For my beef filling, I let my beef completely cool. I drained it on some paper towels. I mixed in probably about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of just mozzarella. I'm just going to add an egg just to help bind everything together. Just mix it all together. The third filling I'm going to do is a chicken and cheese filling. I roasted a chicken breast in the oven, and now I just chopped it up. I like it minced pretty fine. And then I just add it to the same cheese mixture as just the cheese ravioli filling. And then you have a nice chicken-filled ravioli. So this is the exact same filling as the cheese. It just has the minced chicken added to it. Alright, so I have my dough. It's been resting in the refrigerator. I like to cut it in half and then roll it out in 2 separate halves, just because it gets a little unmanageable with this much dough, trying to roll it out all at once. Alright, so I have half of my dough. I just rolled it out in kind of a long log shape. I dusted it with flour, just to help it go through my pasta roller a little bit easier. I'm just going to turn it on. Just have it start going through. And then I like to put it through once more on level 1, just to make sure that it's as thin as it should be. You can see it gets pretty long. So at this point, what I like to do, since it's like unmanageable, it's so long, is I just like to cut it in half. And then I like to rest it on parchment paper, just so it won't stick to my counter, because it definitely will. Alright, so I'm going to lower my machine to level 2, and just run it through. Level 3. Continue to go up. A lot of recipes I've seen online say for it to go to level 7, which is as high as mine goes. I don't know about other models, but I've rolled it out to the 7th level of thinness, and it's just too thin for me. I can't get my raviolis to work. The dough will rip. So I go to level 5, and that is as thin as I go. So I have my pasta sheets rolled out. I'm just going to start filling my dough. I have my cheese filling. It's about a teaspoon and a half of filling per ravioli. You don't want too much. So I just kind of like to roll it into a little ball and just set it down on my pasta dough. Alright, so I have just Eggwash. It's just an egg with a little bit of water mixed into it. I'm just going to lightly brush the dough with the Eggwash. You want to make make sure you don't put too much in it. Soggy up your dough, which wouldn't be good. Just in between the fillings and on the edges. This is just going to help the other dough stick to the bottom. Help them stay together. Alright, so I have my other sheet of pasta dough. I'm just going to lay it down over my fillings. And then just try and squeeze out as much of the air around the filling as possible. And the egg wash should help with this, help the dough stick together. Just like that. And just keep doing that with all of the filling. I just like to do this mostly just so I know exactly where the filling ends, so I can cut the raviolis into their shapes. Once all of them are formed, you can just take your ravioli cutter and then just cut them into shapes. I'm going to do squares just because it's easy. So just like that. And then if you're worried about there still being air in it, just give them a little pinch. And they should be sealed up nicely. So you can just put these on a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. I just like to set them on these until I'm ready either to boil them and cook them, or you can set all your raviolis on here and put them in the freezer, and then once they're frozen you can put them in a Ziploc bag and they'll stay good in your freezer for up to 6 months. You can make a whole bunch at once and then have raviolis whenever you want. Alright, so I have my raviolis. I've frozen these. You can cook them unfrozen, but I have, this is my cheese, my beef, and my chicken ravioli. I'm just going to cook one of each. So I have my water boiling. I'm just going to add in some salt to the water. And this, gently slide these in. Alright, so the frozen raviolis should take anywhere from about 4 to 5 minutes till they're done. You can see the dough has lightened up, and that's usually how I tell when they're done, is the dough looks a lot lighter than when I initially put them into the water. So you can serve these with whatever kind of sauce that you like. A brown butter sauce is great with them, an Alfredo, a pesto. I just have a normal marinara sauce that I made. I'm just going to top them with a little bit of Parmesan. You can see there's a nice filling inside. They're so good. So thanks so much for watching. I know these are kind of time consuming, but they're really nice to just have in the freezer, and they cook really quickly once they're done. And you can fill them with anything you want. Top them with anything you want. It's really your preference. I hope that you enjoyed watching, and I hope that you make this at home. Thanks.